For today's tutorial, we learned how to use the entire VFX template so you can create spectacular visual effects and particles using a node-based editor. So many examples, starting examples, spawn examples, head tracking examples, image spawn examples, and many more, and some kind of complex example for the world AR. Enjoy this tutorial. Hello everyone, my name is Tariq and welcome to the third episode of Intermediate Templates in Lens Studio. For today's template we have the VFX template. You can create spectacular visual effects and particles using a node-based editor. Let's go ahead and check this template. Once you open the template, as you can see, we have so many different examples. So let's go ahead and check this inspector in here on what we have. We have the texture imager, as you can see here on the screen. You can also check the VFX asset that's applied in here, and you can go to the resources panel and check for it. This one. So it's a sphere fade. If you search for the texture as well, you can check how this looks like this. You can also check, like for example, so there was a star in here. You can replace the sphere with a star. Let's see. Like this. But this one has no fade, so that's why it looks like this. Okay, let's go ahead and check the second one. We have the shapes emitter with size fade. Let's check this one. Let's go and check the directional emitter and check it in the resource panel. In here, so you can control the direction of this VFX. It can be -1 to go down, like this, and you can control the strength. You can make it, for example, 100, 20 to be that small, and you can also change the direction as well. Like for the here's start from the X, then Y's, then Z's in here. You can do -10. This one 50. And we can also check the fourth one, directional emitter with noise by age. Let's check what we have in this one. So this one has a direction as well, it has a strength, and it has the noise. So you can control the strength and the directions as well, as mentioned before, like this. And we can make this, for example, 5. And you can also check the other example. So this is how can you control this examples in the VFX. We have the fifth one, directional emitter with noise by age and color. So this one you can create, for example, using a hand tracking. You can make it on the fingers. Simple fire and emitter VFX. So this one works with the fire color ramp. We have many different ramps in here. We can make it as rainbow, as you can see in here. And we can make it with the deer color. Okay, deer color ramp in here. As you can see, it's different. And you can also control the strengths, as mentioned before. And you can control the noise of this Berlin noise in 2D. And we can go to the spawn examples in here. So these are 3 examples. The first one is burst example, as you can see here, like this. It's gonna spawn on the screen. And the second one, which is spawning by tap. So once I tap on the screen, it's gonna spawn this one. So this one, I think you can control the time of the spawn. So as you can see here, the burst duration, you can make it be spawned on the screen for 1 second, like this. And if I make it higher, it will be 2 seconds as well. And the third one in here, we have the continuous example. So this one is going to continue to spawn on the screen. You can also do the same thing by replacing let me show you. So we have the continuous. So we have it as star. You can use the other one, the sphere fade in here. And as you can see here in the screen. The next example, we have flipbook examples. You can try all these examples. So this one is simple flipbook, which is you can control the textures in here, but I don't recommend playing with it in here. So all you need to do, just put your texture and keep the frame and column row the same as it is, because if you play with it, for example, let's make this 4. As you can see here, like I prefer to keep the default settings in here. And the other one, the dynamic. So the dynamic, you can play with it. You can play, for example, if you want this to be out of the screen. Let's go to dynamic flipbook in here, and you can control the ground height. You can make it -50, so it's going to be out of the screen like this. And if you want it to be shown on the screen, we can make it around 30, and this textures will be applied in here. So how this works on spawn is going to spawn the fall, okay, this one. And when it's like on the ground in here, it's going to spawn the hard flipbook. It looks like less opacity of this texture. Let's go to the next example, which is head tracking example. So this one is some VFX rotating around the user's head. You can control this, and you can make it more than 3. So for example, start from 0, which is 1, like this, then 2, 3, and you can control the offset between them. So for example, if you want to make it 3, it's going to be close to each other in the Y zones. If I want to make it more, so this one is going to cover the entire face in here, like this. You can make it look for 2.5, so it has more space, and it's going to look like this. So let's check the VFX as well in here. As you can see here, the rainbow ramp is applied in here. You can, for example, apply the fire ramp in here. As you can see here, refresh, and you can control the end color in the VFX in here to be, for example, red. Refresh, as you can see here on the screen. And the other example, we have the image spawn examples. So this one, it's like simple image. You can apply your own image, and you can control and scale this image, for example. I'm going to show you a quick example using tween script. Let me apply the tween script in here. As we learned before, delete the examples and move it above the camera in here. Let's go to the image, tween script. Then for this one is 2D, we're going to use tween screen transform. I'm going to just change the scale from 1 to 2 as bing bong, like this, as you can see on the screen. So you can control, move, and play with this image as you wish. It's going to be applied on here for the component of the VFX. And the most interesting one, which is the face. Let me show you how this works. For example, I'm going to use this example. So this one is segmentation. It works on the user's segmentation. As you can see here in the image, VFX, we have the segmentation. It's applied to opacity texture for portrait background. So if you search in the resource panel for portrait background, you can see we have the type. You can make it, for example, for only the hair of the user, like this. But if it's not working, you need to turn off the invert mask, so it's going to be only on the hair in here. Also, you can do it for the skin. So the skin is going to be on the hand and the face and the body, like this, on the neck, as well as the upper garment, which is my garment in here. And you can also do it for the face, shoulder, skin, background, sky, and the foot, and everything else. You can also control, like, I'm guessing the color of this one. Let me see. If you go to segmentation in here, then you can see we have the best texture in here. You can just go on the material editor and apply something else for this one. You can add color, multiply, then color, parameter, and then apply this one, so we can have a different color applied to the material in here. To add the custom color, we can customize the color, and the same thing with the base texture as well, like this. So we have the base texture and we have the color as well in here, as you see in the screen. What also you can do is check the hand tracking example. So the hand tracking example, which is the most one I like, you can draw on the screen using your hand. So as you can see here, now it's applied to hand center. How can you control this? You go to the hand tracking. In here, hand tracking, as you can see here, it's applied to the center, but we want to apply it to the index joint, for example. So as you can see here, when I do with my index finger, it's gonna draw in there. You see in the screen. And you can also control this one using the hand. It's called trail hand VFX. So you go search for hand and you see it in the resources panel. You can change the ramp. There's 3 built-in ramps. We have the fire and we have the deer ramp as well, as you see in the screen. And you can control the brush size, the position, and its drawing function. What else you can do is spawn on mesh example. So you have 3D object and you can spawn VFX on it. Let's go ahead and check a world example in here. Flip the screen. So as you can see here, it's moving with the animation of this 3D object. I'm gonna go to use one of the 3D examples we have in here. For example, the pizza delivery. So as you can see in the screen, the color of the VFX comes similar to this 3D object base color because the base color is applied to this 3D mesh. Let me show you in the screen. When I bring the pizza delivery 3D, I'm gonna apply it here. Then all I need to do is just close all of these things, go to mesh encoder. Oops. Go to mesh encoder and replace the object to encode and make it pizza delivery. And then remove the panda example. And as you can see here, it's applied. But this is not the same texture as we have for the other one. So all I need to do, you can see the spawn on mesh in here. Spawn on mesh. And then change the base texture for your pizza delivery or any texture you would like to see. For example, if we applied the helmet base, gonna do some kind of red and gray based on the base texture of this texture in here. Can do the bike base and it's gonna be looks like this, and you can control the object bounds, the minimum and the maximum from here. The next one we have spawn on face mesh. So it's gonna spawn on the face mesh, the same example as the segmentation, but it's just different. So as you can see here in the screen, you have the mesh encoder and we have the spawn on face mesh. So we're gonna control this one as well. So this one is taken from device camera texture. You can also, if you don't want it to be from device camera texture or you don't want it to be from a texture itself, you can just remove this one and apply a color parameter in here. And you need to delete the particle screen UV, don't need it anymore, and the texture to the object parameter. And you have here a custom color built in the material, so you can apply your own color in here. You can also control the bounds and the minimum and the maximum. So the last example we have, which is called complex example, which is not complex, don't worry about it. We're gonna go to the world beach here. As you can see here, we have this deer and we have this amazing VFX on it. I'm gonna go ahead here and grab one of the 3D examples as well. For example, I'm gonna get this kitty. I'm gonna get it from the resources in here and apply it on the screen. Close this one. Then I'm gonna bring it here in the middle, scale it like this, and then move it to the magical deer in here. Then we can go to the magical deer and we get the mesh visual, so we can move our 3D object in here. So as you can see here, it's moving, but because we are using the deer here, so we can go to the kitty and use the poly surface for the 3D object in here and apply it to the mesh visual. So once we delete the deer, we don't need to actually control these things with us anymore. So as you can see here, now we control the 3D model, but how can we apply the VFX the same as the deer? You go to script mesh encoder and apply your kitty in here, object to encode, the same thing. In here, apply the target, and apply the target again in here, and then we have send target direction vector, so we can apply this one here again, and this one as well. So as you can see here, the VFX of this thing and the smoke is applied to our 3D object. As you can see here, we have VFX deer spawn dust. So this dust, you can control the dust color if you search for deer dust VFX. As you can see here, we have the deer ramp. You can change the deer ramp to, for example, the fire ramp. Let me see. As you can see here on the screen, we have different color of the ramp, and the smoke is still different. You can search for the smoke VFX in here, and you can replace these colors, for example yellow, and then red, and we can apply orange, and then for example white. So as you can see here, the smoke has been replaced, and as well as the dust VFX as well. And this is your 3D object in here on the screen. So it says complex example, but for you as a user, everything is easy and simple by just watching this tutorial. So thank you everyone for watching. We reached to the end of this VFX template. I hope you like this tutorial. I'm gonna see you to the next one. Bye bye.